Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to paint these two Assault Intercessors as Blood Angels. The color scheme of a regular Intercessor and a Sergeant is slightly different, so that's why, to make things much easier, first we're going to focus on a regular Blood Angels Intercessor, and after that we're going to focus on this Sergeant and everything that makes him different. The first thing that I'm going to do is to prime these miniatures, and for that I'm going to use Chaos Black from Citadel. Miniature prime, and I'm going to start with the base. For that, first I'm going to apply Astroranite, and after that I'm going to paint around those cobblestones with Abaddon Black. To finish with the base, I'm just going to paint the cobblestones with Wraithbone, and then I will dry brush the whole base. Okay, now that we finished with the base, it's time to start painting this Assault Intercessor, and the first color that I'm going to use is Corn Red to start painting the power armor. The next color that I'm going to use is Lead the Belcher to paint all the metallic elements of the power armor and also the weapons. Before I go any further, I would like to apply the first shade, and I'm going to use Null Oil that I will apply it to the red power armor and to the silver color. Let's start applying some highlights, and I'm going to start with the red power armor. For that I'm going to use Mephiston Red. What I'm going to do is that on the front of the miniature I will paint the plates of the power armor that are going to be the most exposed, of course always respecting all the shadows that I just made. And on the back of the miniature, or the most hidden part, I'm going to do something similar to an edge highlighting. And to finish with the red color, I'm going to use Evil Sun Scarlet to highlight the most exposed areas of the power armor. I'm going to finish the helmet and this knee that we have there with the yellow color, and I'm going to use two of them as base. First I'm going to apply Everland Sunset, and then as a highlight after that I'm going to use Iriel Yellow. I'm going to paint around this bloodstone that we have on the shoulder pad, and very simple, I'm going to apply a base with a Balthasar Gold, then I'm going to apply the shade with Agrax Earth Shade, and after that I'm going to apply a highlight with Retributor Armor. Now I'm going to use Abaddon Black to paint the weapons, details of the power armor, inside parts of the power armor, leather, and also the bloodstone. To highlight the black color, I'm going to use two grays. First, I'm going to apply Ashen Grey, and after that, I'm going to apply a second highlight of Dawnstone in the areas that are going to be the most exposed. To finish with the highlights, now I'm going to use Stormhost Silver to highlight, obviously, the silver color. At this point, I'm missing the bloodstone, and I'm going to paint it using the exact same red colors that I used for the power armor, plus Wild Rider Red. I forgot to mention Corax White that I used at the very end, and now I'm going to use exact same red colors of the power armor to paint a blood drop on this knee, because this is going to be part of the third squad of the second company. And talking about second company, I will use the gold colors that I use here to paint another blood drop here on this shoulder pad. To finish with this Assault Intercessor, I just need to paint the eyes. For that I'm going to use two different greens. First Cabalite Green, and after that I'm going to apply Cyberite Green. And with that, I consider this Blood Angels Assault Intercessor as finished. Now I'm going to apply the exact same color scheme to this sergeant, but I will stop when I reach the shoulder pads, weapons and head, because of course those ones are going to be different, so I would like to explain what I want to do with them later. Okay, now we're going to start painting different things, and I'm going to start with the head. For that, first I'm going to apply Rackard flesh on the flesh, and after that on the hair I'm going to apply Averland Sunset. Now I'm going to apply Rakeland Flesh Shade all over the head, flesh and hair. Now I'm going to highlight the skin with Flayed One Flesh, and after that I'm going to highlight slightly that hair with Iriel Yellow again. Let's paint that power weapon, and I'm going to use blue colors. I'm going to start with Cantor Blue to paint the whole sword. After that I'm going to use Macragge Blue, and I'm going to finish with Templegar Blue. At this point, I just need to use Corax White to add some extra details and paint the plasma pistol. After that, I'm going to apply to the pistol temple grab blue again. And then I will just need to use some colors that I used previously to paint the remaining details. Like for example, we need to add some symbol here on the knee and on the shoulder pad. And after that, we will just finish this miniature. And this is it, this is the final result, this is how I painted these two Assault Intercessors for the Blood Angels chapter. So let's take a look at each miniature individually. Let's start with this regular Assault Intercessor, and I try to be as lore accurate as possible, but of course, according to the lore, this type of miniature should have like a totally yellow helmet. But I don't like that much, so I decided to add like a yellow stripe there. So it's kinda lore accurate, it's like the scroll of this miniature is represented, but in a slightly different way. Something similar to what I did with these Eradicators previously, and I like this. For this one I tried to use a more intense red color. I like it a little bit more, but of course I invite you to let me know what you think about this small change. And here we have the sergeant of the unit, of course, with the small changes that represent that this miniature is a sergeant. Black shoulder pads, a little bit more of gold on the miniature, and aside from that, I choose a very not a nice pose to paint this miniature on a video, because if I put him looking at the front, we cannot see properly the weapon, and most of the cases to paint, it was difficult because the sword was always in the middle, but I'm happy with this sergeant. Obviously, I invite you to let me know in the comments what you think about these two miniatures, and as always, if you enjoy the content of the channel and you would like to support me, I invite you to check the link to Patreon in the description. And with all of that being said, this is it, this is the final result, this is how I painted these two miniatures. So of course, as always, if you're still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.